I'd like to know, of all of the songs, and probably difficult for you to say, but of all of your songs, what's your personal favorite?
My personal favorite is Old Cape Cod.
Oh, yes. Well, it's funny because I do have that queued up because it's certainly, it's a very, very big favorite. I don't think it's just because we're on the East Coast, but it's just a fabulous, fabulous sound.
I was very fortunate with that song, really.
When you do your concerts, is there one that the fans say, don't just do medley, we've got to hear it, and they wouldn't let you off the stage without it?
Well, Tennessee Waltz is one of those.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think the big favorite is Doggy in the Window.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
And it was a big, big number one hit for you.
Yes, it was.
Tennessee Waltz, by the way, as you know, and I'm sure most of our listeners, the fans of yours, would know that it was number one. It was the first to be number one on 3 charts at the same time, country, R&B, and pop.
Yes, that's right.
And it sold, what was it, at last count, 20 million?
Well,
you stopped counting.
It's up there.
And it's been covered by some, including Anne Murray.
Well, actually, there were a lot of people that have had a million seller at Tennessee Waltz.
Did Sam Cooke have a million seller with it? He did cover it.
I don't believe so.
No.
But I know that Les Paul and Mary Ford did. Tennessee Ernie Ford did. And Eddie Arnold.
Did you mind when some people, perhaps maybe more rock and roll or more pop, did you ever mind when someone covered your songs?
Oh, not at all.
You didn't mind, no?
No, that
was a tribute.
That was a big help for anyone's sales, and I covered a lot of different artists in my heyday, and that just made theirs more popular, too.
Any song that you're tired of singing?
No, ma'am. Well, even Doggy in the Window, I can get through.
You don't mind that?
No.
Your music really does sound, besides the fact that you're continuing to be so current, but even some of the songs, you mentioned Old Cape Cod, and you go back to the 60s with Hush Hush, Sweet Charlotte.
Right.
But the techniques that you used, I mean, you were very innovative. They sound so current today. They don't sound dated. Do you notice that?
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad of that because we spent a lot of time and a lot of thought making sure we did them in stereo, et cetera, when it first came out. And all the albums that I did for my television show, the 15-minute show, they were all done in stereo.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the beginning of stereo. So I'm glad to say we had great engineers.
Your music is being used in many different ways in movies, and what was it? I think Old Cape Cod was used recently in a movie.
I think so. I didn't see the movie, but it was with the man from Australia.
Yes, Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, right. Mm-hmm.
And now there's an interesting little side story here about a rock group. We, of course, don't play it here at Seaside. The group is known as White Stripes, and they're covering Conquest.
Yes, that's right. I was surprised as you are.
Do you enjoy that?
Oh, sure.
Why not?
Definitely. In fact, it was the reason that eBay used my Conquest on the Super Bowl and all that,
Yes, they've got it going as a commercial or a shopping commercial.
Uh-huh, right.
I looked it up, I think, on YouTube and eBay.
Right.
It's great.
As I said, I was as surprised as you are.
I keep referring to your website, and I'll certainly be telling our listeners to go there because they can order your music. Has the Internet been a boon to you?
Oh, yeah. Fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
And to our maple syrup, by the way.
Well, that's right. I have to get to that. But before I leave the music side of it, you've done duets, I see, over the years. Just a few to mention, Tom T. Hall and George Jones. And then other artists like Tony Bennett have done whole albums of duets, and Anne Murray. What about you? Ever thought about that?
Oh, yes, I've thought about it, but no one else has.
Oh, that's too bad. Now, Anne Murray is from here, from Nova Scotia, and I did happen to have the pleasure of knowing her years ago and went to university with her, and she is a huge fan of yours. I'm surprised you haven't teamed up.
Well, it would be great. I've thought of it, and I know the people who are involved with me have thought of it, but I don't know if anyone has ever approached Anne or if she would even consider it. So.
Well, that would be fabulous. Now, before I get to your maple syrup, and I know you're a very busy lady today, but I do have another question for you. I see that you're very involved. I mean, you're a very, very busy lady, but you're involved in an organization that's helping grandchildren. You've raised 2 of your own.
Yes, my husband and I are still raising those 2.
Yes, and you have 13 in total, but you've actually raised 2. Is that right?
Uh-huh.
By the way,
came to us at age 2 and 4. I got custody of it, and they've been with us ever since. And I'm going through the throes of the teenager again.
You know what? I really sympathize because my grandparents raised me, and I remember when I was a teenager. God love them.
You're right.
Well, now you have a Child of Mine, which was an Anne Murray song, and it's pretty much, I think, almost an anthem for this the National Committee of Grandparents for Children's Rights, and you're involved in that.
Right. And they knew that we were raising our 2 grandchildren, and so they asked me if I would be the honorary chairman, and I immediately thought, yes, I'd love it. So, and I've learned a lot since I here.
Yes, well, it's a great cause because you know, I am a grandmother. I have 4 grandchildren, and I'm very blessed that they're all around me, and you know, their parents they're both lucky enough. The 4 of them are lucky enough to have both parents.
Yes.
But grandparents play a great role in your grandchildren's lives. It's very enriching, and it's great for the kids too.
Oh yes, I think so too, and the kids love it. They really do.
Well, I know how busy you are. I just have maybe 1 or 2 more questions before I let you get back to another interview? Is that what would be on the plate? I wanted to ask you about American Idol. What do you think of that process? Do you follow it at all?
Well, I don't really follow it, no. I have watched it a couple of times, but I haven't gotten involved like a lot of other people do and like some of our children do. But I think it's a good concept. I think that a lot, you know, so much emphasis is put on the media now with celebrities. And, you know, in my day, I could go out to dinner and enjoy it. I don't think any of the young stars now can.
Are you happy then that was not the process toward that you would take toward your stardom?
I am very happy.
Can you imagine having to sit there in front of Simon Cowell?
No, I can't.
Well, the last question I have for you is about innovation and technology today, because back in 1948 you did something no one had ever done before, the whole multi-track, and apparently you say it was because there was sort of a dire dearth of backup singers at the time.
Well, that's true, and there was a dire dearth of money. You know, I hadn't sold any records. I really hadn't had many processed or out there for people to buy. But we were recording up to midnight on New Year's Eve of 1947, and I think almost every other recording artist was doing the same thing, because we knew there was a musician strike going on that would be the whole year of 48, and there wouldn't be any records made in the United States. And that is exactly what happened. So this was one of the songs that we recorded that night, and we didn't have a singer there. And my manager and I suggested that I do the echo, and it worked out that it was fine because they were concerned about its presence on the records and the technique and technology they had at that time, because they only had like one line going in for the singer, the band, and all that. So it worked fine, as I said, because it was an echo. And I was just echoing myself, and I didn't think anything innovative about it. It was just something that we did.
Well, it went over so well that, I gather it's true that you did 4-part harmony on one of your hits.
Oh, I did 5. I did up to 5, but Mary Ford did a lot more than that.
Is that right?
Yes, but the idea of the first one being done by me was fantastic, and I didn't really know what I was doing.
Well, technology today with computers in these studios, is it unfortunate, though, that they can take someone like me who really can't sing that well and make them sound good?
Oh, yes, it is unfortunate, but they can do it.
There's hope for me yet.
There's hope for you, Gail.
Well, Miss Page, it's been such an honor to speak with you, and I know that, as I said, you're very busy as you're getting ready to go out on tour. And before I leave you, is there anything you'd like to say, anything I've left out here?
Well, not really. You've covered it all, I think. I am looking forward to being in Canada and seeing some of the friends that we've made through the years there. It'll be fun.
Well, we're Seaside-FM, and we are on the Internet, and if you ever get a chance, just tune us in, because you'll certainly hear an awful lot of wonderful Patti Page music right here. And if you enjoy hearing some of your hits and some of your other songs, there's a song I love by you that I play called Longing to Hold You Again. Oh, yeah, good. And I don't think it doesn't seem like it was ever really released, was it?
It was released, but it wasn't a hit.
Well, it's a hit with me.
Well, good. I'm glad. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. And I guess the best way to leave you and leave this interview is with that great song, Old Cape Cod.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you, Gail.
Thank you, Patti.
Bye-bye.